What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing this makeup look, and I'm also including a little story of what happened last summer in Rosarito. I know what you did last summer. So this is the first time I'm actually doing like a makeup look slash story time in one. It was a little difficult trying to do both at once. So with all that being said, let's just jump right into the video. Alright, before I jump right into the story, I already have my base, foundation, concealer, so I already did that off camera. And I have these huge hormonal breakouts right now because I did stop taking my birth control pills, so my acne has came back and it's very nasty, so I don't want to show you guys. I know acne is not a big deal. There's bigger issues in the world and in people's lives, but to me it's something that I'm currently going through, so it's kind of an annoying issue that I have to be dealing with right now. So I'm just gonna jump in to do my eyebrows, and for my eyebrows I'm gonna be taking my ColourPop Taken for Granted eyebrow color pomade. Let's just jump right into the story. So last summer in, I want to say July, my boyfriend and I took a trip to Rosarito just for the weekend. We ended up planning a last minute trip. It was kind of one of those spontaneous, fuck it, let's just go type of thing. I ended up booking the room. I think I might have booked the room on a Thursday and we were leaving on Saturday. So that was literally the last room that they had, and it was about like 70, no, it was probably like less than that. It was probably like 60, 50 bucks, something like that. It was really cheap, and it said it was right a block away from the actual strip where Papa's and Beer and all the bars are at. The name of the hotel was, let me see if I still have it on my Expedia. Hotel that we stayed at was Hotel Mediterráneo, okay? Anyways, so we ended up leaving on a Saturday. We got there at around, well, first we ended up stopping at TJ. We were hungry, so we went to like a restaurant, we ate, we had one drink, and then we made our way to Rosarito. We checked in. I remember we got there, the room was very stuffy, like there were stains on the bed. Like obviously it wasn't a 5-star hotel, but it was just kind of a little grimy. We opened up the windows because it was really hot, and the windows didn't have any screen on them. It was just like the window and outside. So, but there was a lot of people out there. There was a pool, so people were like inside the pool. We're like, okay, whatever. And so we ended up making ourselves like a drink when we got to the room, because we did take our own alcohol and like mixer, you know, to kind of pre-game it in the room before we headed out. Trying to talk and do my makeup and it's so hard. Okay, let me just finish these brows off camera and then I'll come back on to finish the story. Moving on to the story, I was telling you guys that we ended up just getting a room. We got there, we checked in, yada yada yada, we freshened up, we were having a drink. Okay, so then my boyfriend, he had a joint of marijuana. Marijuana is actually legal in California, but it's illegal once you enter Mexico. So our dumbasses ended up taking one anyway. Just a disclaimer, I am not promoting smoking weed or the use of marijuana. I'm just telling you guys the story of what happened to us, and hopefully you guys learn from our mistakes. So we ended up taking a joint into Rosarito. When we got to the hotel, we decided we wanted to walk to Papa's and Beer instead of driving there, because it wasn't as far from the hotel to Papa's and Beer. It was an 8-minute drive, but walking was going to take around 30 minutes. It's 3.1 kilometers. I don't know how much that is. The point is, we started walking out to, actually before I even go any further, let me go ahead and start on my eyes now that my eyebrows are done. I'm going to take Wild Soul, which is this mustard color over here, and I'm going to pop that all over my eyes here. So we ended up walking midway to Papa's and Beer, and as we were walking, we started to smoke the joint. And keep in mind, it wasn't a big joint, it was just a really small. I smoked very little bit. I'm not a big time smoker. I don't smoke all the time, but I will when I'm like nervous or anxious or just need to relax. But I was aware that I was not in my city. I don't know where we're at. 10-15 minutes into our walk, we decided that we wanted to get a cab for the remainder of the way. So we ended up flagging down a taxi. The remainder of the joint, I had a small backpack on, so I ended up I just dug it up in there somewhere. We get off, you know, we pay him, we go into, or we attempt to get in the line for papas and beer, but because they were searching everyone and they were like going through your bags and they were just kind of checking to see if you had anything you weren't supposed to bring in there. And so it was my turn to get checked, and sure enough, the girl ends up finding the little ass remainder of the joint, which wasn't a lot, but it was enough to like still smoke. She told me I needed to get rid of that. So I end up going back to the line where there was a trash can, and my boyfriend ended up seeing that I got out, and so he comes after me. He's like, what happened? I'm like, well, they found it. I'm like, I need to throw it out. He's like, no, just give it to me. So I ended up giving it to him. We get back into the line, and somebody else checked me this time. It wasn't her. So obviously they didn't see anything. They didn't find it on him. So we got in. We're in the clear. We're in there. We're partying, dancing, drinking. Honestly, it was a lot of fun. It was just me and my boyfriend, but we had such a good time. Like, the music was good. That was my first time there. Papas and beer was poppin', okay? The people, it was an older crowd. I remember there was a lot of bikers with their like girlfriends and wives. I mean, there was a young crowd, but the majority of it was all older people. So it was very chill. Like, there was no fights. There was security like all around the area. We were up on top. I think it's either 2-story or 3 stories, but we were on the second floor. So we were up there the whole time. Okay, so the next color that I'm going in with is this dark green color called Moody, and I'm just gonna put that right in my crease. We're at Papa's and Beer, and everything's going fine. We end up leaving. Well, we got hungry, and so we ended up leaving like around 12:30-ish. It could have been a little later than that. And right outside Papa's and Beer, there's like a little, like literally very tiny restaurant. You know, they have quesadillas, they have molitas, they have tacos, they have a bunch of like food, you know, to grub on right after you get out of the club. So we ended up stopping by there. We had like tacos or whatever, and so then right after we eat, we end up leaving the strip of where all the bars are at, and we were gonna take a taxi, but my boyfriend wanted to finish up the joint, so he was like, oh, let's just walk and then we can grab a taxi right after. We start walking, and he lights up his joint, well, the remainder of it, because really it wasn't even a lot. On the side that we're walking on, it's like almost pitch black. There's not a lot of lights, so you can't really like, it's really sketchy. So, and he was like, maybe we should cross the street, because on the other side of the street there was like, it was well lighted, you know, it wasn't as dark. And I'm just intensifying this green and then blending it out. So anyways, we ended up crossing the street on the side that's well lighted, and we're such idiots, dude. We're walking, like maybe not even 2 minutes later, we hear a motorcycle go on. I didn't even think anything of it. I was just like, oh, somebody's getting onto their motorcycle. Well, 5 seconds later, this cop pulls up on us. My boyfriend has his joint in his hand, and all the smoke is going to his face, and he's like, ¿Qué traes ahí? Meaning, what do you have there? And my boyfriend was like, what? Nothing. He stops his bike, he gets off, and obviously we had stopped because he had approached us. He's like, ven pa acá. He's like, come over here. So he gets off, and I was drunk, or I was like, not even drunk, I was like buzzed. That shit se me quitó. I was like, oh, hell no. He's like, what do you have there? And he was like, well, nothing, like somebody gave it to me. He's like, just a little piece, like somebody just gave it to me. We just literally came from Papa's and Beer. Look at our wristbands, because we had wristbands. He's like, yeah, but this is illegal here, blah 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 blah. He's like, you're gonna have to come with me. And as soon as he said you're gonna have to come with me, I was like, fuck, there's no way we're gonna be able to get out of this. Like, all the talking we do is not gonna get it. So my boyfriend's over there trying to like persuade him. And then we just came over here to have a good time. He's like, somebody just gave this to me, and like, come on, like, throw it away, blah blah blah. And the cop, honestly, he almost seemed like he was getting convinced, but something was like, no, you need to come with me now. And he was getting even more pissed. Like, so we end up walking back. He left his bike there, maybe, I don't know, 30 steps. And we see an opening, and our dumbasses ended up crossing the street right in front of la delegación, which means the jail. So obviously he saw us cross the street. We didn't see him, but he obviously saw us, and he saw that my boyfriend was smoking. That's why we heard the bike and he stopped us. So then anyway, so he's like, you need to go in there. And this place where he was trying to have him go with him, it was very dark. Like, it just looked like a door, and that was it. So then my boyfriend's over there trying to tell him, like, no, come on, like, let's just settle this here right now, like. And the cop was not budging. He was like, nope, you need to go in there, you need to go in there, blah 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 blah. So finally my boyfriend goes in there. They open the door, and to my relief, there was a bunch of other men that were being detained in there. And it's so funny because I don't know if you guys seen like Mexican movies or like novelas where they have people standing behind. I don't know how to explain it. They had the door open this whole time, and I took pictures. I remember taking a few videos. I'll insert them here so you guys can see. And I was like, fuck, like there was a million thoughts running through my head at this time. I was like not even tipsy. I was completely sober by this time. I was literally out there by myself because as soon as they kind of saw me taking pictures and videos, they like shut the door. So I wasn't able to see in there. And then, you know, more people started getting detained. So there was more cops and there was more people being brought in. Wait, I need to finish this eye, huh? This looks a little crazy. I remember texting my sister like at 1 in the morning. By this time it was already 1. I texted her, and my text, like, I didn't think she was gonna get it because it kept saying like failed. So I ended up sending it like 3 times, and I said, oh my gosh, Brian just got arrested. Like, I was about to panic. What's gonna happen, you know? How long is he gonna be in there? Like, honestly, I did not know. Like, I didn't know what to expect. So, like, while I'm out there waiting for him, I'm still by myself. There's nobody out there waiting for whoever's in there. The door, like, swings open, and he starts telling me, like, he was like, go back to the room. He's like, these people are acting stupid. And I was like, oh my god, like, the room is literally 20 minutes away. I didn't take out money, and because he had taken out money when we first got there, he took out pesos. So I didn't have, I mean, I had my card, but I was gonna have to find an ATM to grab a taxi to go back to the room. It was just like, I'm not gonna leave, you know? So whatever, they shut the door again, and then some girls get there. There was these 3 girls that got there. I befriended them because honestly I was so like, they were being loud, you know, they didn't seem so intimidated. It looked like honestly they had been there before. So then they asked me, they're like, oh, who are you waiting for? And I told them, oh, my boyfriend. And then they asked me why is he in there? I even lied to them. I said somebody gave them a little marijuana joint. They were waiting for like a boyfriend and a cousin that had gotten arrested at the beach or something like that. I don't know. The point is that I befriended them, and at that point I was a little bit more relaxed because I'm like, okay, there's more girls here. And it's funny because there was a cop that kept coming in and out of like the jail, and they were like flirting with him, you know, like, oh, is my cousin in there? Like, it almost seemed like they already knew each other because the way the cop was talking to them too, he was just like, oh no, he's gonna be in there for a long time, you guys should leave and come back tomorrow because he's gonna be in there for a good while. He's like talking back to the cop or whatever. And right next to where they have him detained, there's like another door that says juez, which means judge. And this guy comes out, and he looks like, okay, a judge. In my head, he didn't look like a judge. Well, this guy comes out and he's dressed casually, and he was like, oh, who are you guys waiting for? The girls tell him, oh, my cousin and my boyfriend. And then he asks me, he's like, whoa, is your boyfriend the peloncito? He said, he's like the bald-headed one. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, he'll be out right now, don't worry, they just need to ask him a few things and get this and that. So that kind of gave me a little bit of more relief, but I'm like, I didn't know whether to believe him or not. And then the same cop the girls were flirting with, he goes back inside, and then he comes back out. He gives me my boyfriend's wallet and his phone, and I'm like, okay, why is he giving me his wallet and his phone? I hope these girls don't leave and I'm stuck here by myself, because even though the cop and the judge seemed cool, I don't know, I've seen too many movies, and I was just like, 1,000 things were running through my head at this time. So I was just talking to the girls, they were talking to me. One of the girls actually lived here in California at one point. She worked in the fields, like picking cabbage and carrots. And so I was talking to her most of the time, and the other girls were just kind of like talking within themselves and talking to the cops and the judge who came out randomly. For the center of my eye, I'm going to be taking this color over here, which is called sandalwood. And I'm just going to pop that right in the center. Okay, so where was I? Right, so I'm still waiting for my boyfriend to get out of Rosarito jail. At this point, I'm tired of standing. It's been over an hour now, and there's some stairs there, so me and the girls kind of just go and just sit there while we wait. And while we're waiting, a lot of people start coming out, like one by one. I'm like, dude, these people went in after my boyfriend went in, and why are they coming out now, you know? I kind of just like I came to the conclusion that I have to just, you know, just wait. Like, there's nothing else we can do. Like, nobody we can call. Like, we're just gonna have to wait this out. And so then the judge comes out one last time. But this last time he comes out, he was like, oh yeah, your boyfriend, he's on with the short hair again. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, he's just talking back too much. He was like, he'll be out right now. Don't worry, he'll be out. And I'm in my head now. I'm just like, yeah. Shut the fuck up. Like, I don't need to hear what you've already told me, and yet it's been over an hour and I still haven't seen him. The cop that the girls were flirting with, he kind of just sits down also at this other bench, not on the stairs, like on this bench, and they're just talking to him, flirting with him. Okay, I'm just gonna do my eyeliner. I'm using Wet n Wild's H2O liquid liner. This is low-key giving me Aaliyah vibes. The Try Again video. Just a quick little coat of mascara. I'm just gonna put black on the waterline. After like probably an hour and a half of just waiting, the same cop that was out there talking to those girls, he goes in there, and like about 5 minutes later, he comes out with my boyfriend. And I was so happy to see him come out. I've heard stories where guys get beaten up once they're in there, you know, like they're not treated nicely, especially if you're talking back to them, which the judge told me that my boyfriend was doing. So he wasn't harmed at all. We start walking back to our hotel, and I'm like, dude, like what did they do? What did they tell you? Like, I just start asking him 101 questions, and we're both very like excited and anxious, and we were gonna grab a cab back, but at that point we were just like literally speed walking and just talking that we just ended up walking all the way back to our hotel. So he pretty much told me that it's so weird how the justice system works over there versus here. Like, it's obviously it's corrupt, but they make it a point to let you know that it's corrupt. Like, they're not gonna sugarcoat it, you know. So he pretty much told me that once they put him in there, he tried to record with his camera, and they ended up seeing that. They figured it out. Got really upset when they saw him trying to record. That's why he was telling me to go back to the room, because they were telling him that he was gonna be in there for a really long time. And obviously my boyfriend believed them, so that's why he was telling me to go back to the rooms. When he was in there, he was able to see the juez, like the judge, and there was a pony door that was dividing that building where they have all the men and the judge's office. And he talked to him, and he pretty much fined him. My boyfriend lied. He said he only had like, I don't know, 20-30 bucks on him, and he pretty much laughed at him, and that's why he was thrown into an actual cell. They threw him in a cell, and there was another guy in there, like, gone. He was drunk, and he had throw up all over him. He shared a cell with this guy. Okay, so I took that same moody color and I just put it all over my lash line. For my lashes, I am wearing these Ardell Wispies. I really like these, and I like how they're so affordable also. I always buy the 2-pack ones that come with a little duo glue, because I feel like those are the best. We're walking back to our hotel room. My boyfriend's telling me what happened to him. Like, they called him back in again, and they asked him for more money. Finally, my boyfriend caved, and he ended up giving him like 80, 100 bucks, I'm not even sure. American dollars, not pesos. And pesos, that's like 1,000 and something. They ended up taking that. At this point, we're like, man, this shit went from like having so much fun to like such a downfall, and we were pretty much over it. We almost came back that same night, but we were tired. We had been drinking, so we're like, let's just chill, and tomorrow morning we'll leave. I think I needed a little dash of like gold or something. I'm gonna take Muse, which is this one right here, and I'm just gonna pop that in the center. Such a pretty color. Bronzer, I'm gonna bronze up my face. For bronzer, I'm gonna take my Anastasia. I'm taking it back to the contour kit. I'm gonna just mix all these bronzers and bronze up my face a little bit. So we're back in the room now, and we're kind of like just paranoid. We're over it. And then to top it off, the room is just very stuffy, and like I said before, the windows didn't have any protectors, so we're like, how can we go to sleep and leave the windows open? Like, I don't trust anybody right now. I think we might have opened it. I can't remember. I think we might have opened it just a little bit, and we ended up falling asleep with like no covers, like nothing. It was like really hot, and it was summertime, so obviously. So then the next morning we just woke up. We were like, oh my gosh, what happened last night? Like, never again. Like, we're so dumb, you know, kind of just recapping the whole night and how lucky and blessed we truly are, how it's going to be a funny story to tell. We were kind of laughing, but we were still kind of like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. Like, it wasn't such a big deal, but at the moment it was, you know. So we ended up just grabbing our stuff, and then we ended up going back to Rosarito, like the strip, to like eat. Okay. We went down to the beach where they sit you on the sand. Like, they have a bunch of restaurants there that you're literally on the sand eating. And then we started making our way back home, which that lasted to cross in La Linea. We ended up waiting 4 hours. For my lips, I'm gonna try out this Bare Minerals matte liquid lipstick I picked up at TJ Maxx. This is in the color Icon. A ver cómo se mira. Alright, I like that color. I'm gonna add a little bit of blush, and the one I'm taking is the Milani. I think this is Bellissimo Bronze. Just a tiny bit of this. And then I'm just gonna spritz some Fix Plus just to finish off my story. So we ended up crossing, and that was that. And we learned a valuable lesson is to, 1, obviously never take weed into a different country or state. And 2, if you are going to go to Rosarito and party and bar hop or whatever, so we need to actually stay on the strip, because although we were getting a cheaper deal and that was the only room available, it was a little farther out where we were staying, and that kind of just opened the gates of the cops. You know, you just open the doors to many other things. So if you are going to Rosarito and partying out there, just stay within the parameters of the bars you're going to be at. That way you can just easily walk up to your hotel without having to grab a taxi or whatever. With all that being said, it was definitely an experience, and it was a scary slash funny slash what the hell just happened experience, but nonetheless it's a story to tell, so that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the story time and enjoyed this makeup look. A little bit different, it's a little bit more green. So anyway, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed watching and hearing my story. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.